What's up everyone, MeJP2 here, and in today's video we have my level 50 Lickilicky with Solar Beam in the Master Premier. Now I had originally built this Pokemon when the Open Master League was out, simply because of the fact that I thought Rhyperior was common enough that I could Solar Beam them there. But the main problem with that is there's so many legendaries with the power level being so much higher that Lickilicky, if it's not aligned against the Rhyperior, it just gets destroyed basically. So it was really difficult to run, and I never really made a video with it. Now, of course, I'm disappointed that Mega Master League was canceled, but at least we have Master Premier, and I will be able to run my level 50 Lickilicky in it with Solar Beam. So let's get to destroying stuff with Solar Beam. Into the first battle, and we lead Lickilicky into Gyarados. I've seen Gyarados with both Dragon Breath and Waterfall, depends on what you want it to do, but since they're on Waterfall, I will just safe switch my Hisuian to Decidueye, because I have two Pokemon in the back that hard wall Gyarados. They respond to the Mamoswine and then proceed to not respect the Aura Sphere, so they just fully lose a Pokemon there. Now, they're going to send back in Gyarados, and they need at least two moves to take me out here. Aqua Tail is not going to be enough, and I don't know if the Waterfalls will get me into Aqua Tail range either. I'm going to go for an Aura Sphere. Opponent probably traumatized after seeing their Mamoswine get destroyed, so they do decide to shield the Energy Ball. Now, they're going to Aqua Tail me, but that doesn't take me out. So I make it to another Energy Ball. The opponent decides to double shield, and preserving the Gyarados is not very helpful because they're just going to get neutralized by Primarina. So we're just going to let the Aqua Tail go. They send in Rhyperior, and you guys know exactly what time it is. We're going to no shield to Breaking Swipe. Now, obviously, they get the attack debuff, and now they're going to go for another one. Now, I was fully expecting this to debuff my attack, but it actually doesn't, which is nice. Now it's time for the Solar Beam, double super effective. It almost one-shots them. If we didn't get debuffed, that would one-shot them. So that is kind of disappointing that we got debuffed. But one Body Slam takes them out. And now their Gyarados has absolutely nothing they can do. They're going to go for an Aqua Tail, and they realize game's over. They might have just force quit the app there, I don't know. Or they just stop tapping. But either way, we take that game. We see Tyranitar on the lead in the next battle. Very interesting lead. You can tank several Brutal Swings, and I don't know how much Solar Beam does to a Tyranitar. Like, it's not double super effective, so I don't think it's just a one-hit KO, but it still hits for some pretty good damage. I was not surprised that they shielded there, because Lickilicky also does learn Earthquake, which is another super effective move that does a lot of damage. So, not surprised they shield there, but I'm not happy about it. I decide to send in Hisuian to Decidueye after that, and the opponent responds with Metagross. Now, up this much energy and a shield, Hisuian and Decidueye can just flip this. And since basically both other Pokemon that I have don't do all that well into Metagross, I decide that it's probably a good idea to flip it. So that's exactly what I do. Now, they can go for a Brutal Swing. I don't know if this will take me out. Brutal Swing, not the most powerful move. And we're able to make it to an Aura Sphere. I probably should have went for the Energy Ball here, because there's no way they don't shield this, and Energy Ball can get the defense debuff. But it doesn't matter that much. Now, I'm going to shield this Brutal Swing because I have a Solar Beam now. I overfarm by 1 just to make sure they don't catch. So now we're just going to be able to Solar Beam the Tyranitar. Tyranitar gets removed from the face of the earth. And suddenly this game isn't as good as I thought it was. This Primarina mirror, I am down energy. So I need to catch the Disarming Voice. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Now, thankfully, because of this catch, this game is just fully over. Opponent realizes it, and they can see the match. We see another Gyarados lead in the next battle. I saw a lot of Gyarados leads, and this one's on Waterfall. This time, I actually decided not to switch out. Not sure why, but I decided against it. They go for a Crunch, no debuff, thankfully, and I'm going to go for a Body Slam. I think with the rollouts, a Body Slam plus a Solar Beam KOs, so I'm just going to go for the Solar Beam now. This Solar Beam will deal a very good lot of damage, but I will get farmed down. I'm going to send in Primarina though, so whatever energy they have here does not matter. They go for a Crunch, and they get farmed down. They then send in Togekiss, and Togekiss is not good, because I know they're going to shield this Hydro Cannon, because that's what Charmers do. And Hisuian to Decidueye, I don't know how well this thing's going to be able to tank the Charms. I need to tank the Charms well though. So they're going to go for a move here. They actually Dazzling Gleam for some reason. And then they send in Hydreigon. Now, the moment I saw this, I thought the game was just over because Aura Sphere doesn't KO and they'd be able to farm me down. But they're on Bite. Not entirely sure why, but they are on Bite. So, thankfully for us, we're just going to be able to farm it to 100 energy because Bite does next to nothing due to it being resisted. And we're just going to Aura Sphere. Togekiss can come in, but Energy Ball, they're in a range where this will take them out. So, we're going to throw the Energy Ball, take them out, and take that game. Into the next battle, and we lead Lickilicky into Shadow Hariyama. So, very spicy pick. I'm just going to send in Primarina. Opponent responds with a Togekiss, so not sure how this game's going to be winnable, because I think they're just going to shield and fully charm me down. And I'm not sure how well of a response I'll be able to have to the Hariyama. So now, I'm just going to send in Lickilicky, and I do decide that I want to shield, because if this is an Aura Sphere, it's another Dazzling Gleam. I don't know why there's so many Dazzling Gleams. But if that was an Aura Sphere, that would deal a lot of damage. Now, they send in Hariyama. They unfortunately do get their fast move denied. So, I'm hoping Niantic fix that eventually. But then, I send in Decidueye, and they have Gyarados in the back. This one is on Dragon Breath, which makes this matchup a bit more complicated. But we're probably going to be fine. They can go for a move here. I'm no shielding, because if it's a crunch and it gets the debuff, the second one will do more. But then I realized that probably just puts me in a farm down range. I will be energy balling again, and I try to make it to another one, but I don't. Thankfully, the Psycho Cuts, despite being very low damage and don't even get the same type of attack bonus, they do add up a bit. Now, this is a Gyarados on Outrage, so that hurt, but I should be able to farm him down. They send in Hariyama. That is a huge mistake, because they don't get a Force Palm off because of the one-turn bring-in. So I think they kind of threw that game there, but we take it. Into the next battle, and we lead with Lickilicky into Togekiss. Now, I'm going to farm up a lot because this thing does learn Hyper Beam, and Hyper Beam hits for a lot, and we all know Charmers love shielding. Now, I'm going to be able to go for another Body Slam, and if they no-shield this, I'm pretty sure rollouts will get them into Solar Beam range. So, I'm going to go for the Solar Beam. I don't know if this does more or less than 2 Body Slams, but we're going to be able to get the simultaneous KO, so we deny a lot of energy from them. And we get the simultaneous KO, meaning that no one really gets switch advantage. They send in Dragonite a bit early, so I'm able to quick switch in Primarina. And then they're going to immediately send in Metagross. Now, thankfully, I didn't give the Metagross enough of an energy advantage, so I will be able to just go for an Aura Sphere. This will hit pretty hard, and a second one will take them out. Now, I think Decidueye always will lose CMP to Metagross, but we're going to be able to shield the Meteor Mash. And now I'll be able to go for another Aura Sphere. At this point, frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if they send Dragonite back in, and that's exactly what they do. As long as they're not on Hurricane or Hyper Beam, we're fine. So this probably is just a superpower. It is, and we're going to farm down. Metagross can come in, but they will get hit with the Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon from Primarina doesn't always hit as hard, but it's going to hit hard enough to take him out, and we do take that game. We see another Togekiss on the lead in the next battle. Now, this time I'm hoping to just play it out the exact same. They make it to an Ancient Power at the same time I make it to a Solar Beam, but they're not going to throw an Ancient Power. They want to have something that might be threatening, like an Aura Sphere. Once again, the opponent shields, so I'm just going to go for another Body Slam. Body Slam gets another shield. So at this point, I'm fine. They're going to go for an Ancient Power, and I just decide to let that go. Lickilicky has gotten both shields, which is perfectly fine. Now I'm going to send in Primarina, just to farm them down, and we're going to see what they have in the back. They're going to go for a move here. I want a shield just because it's an Ancient Power, and they get the boost, so I'm going to take a bit more damage from the Charms, which kind of annoying. Opponent then sends in Slacking. I'm going to be honest, I've never seen that thing before. And then they have Metal Claw Excadrill, so either this opponent is trying to run Spice, or they have no idea what they're doing. Personally, I think it's the latter. But we're going to be able to make it to an Aura Sphere. Aura Sphere will hit the Slacking for quite a bit of damage, and we will be able to take that game. We lead Lickilicky into Shadow Swampert in the next battle. Now, as long as they throw on Alignment, which sometimes they do, I might be able to make it to a Solar Beam before they make it a double Hydros. If not, I think it's a CMP. They're going to go for Hydro number 1, and this opponent didn't want to throw an Alignment, so they overfarm. I think they were at the Hydro right there. We're going to make it to a Solar Beam. Goodbye, Swampert. And then they send in Togekiss. Now, I'm going to farm up a bit past the Body Slam, make them think I might have something else, and it does pay off as they do shield it. Now, I will be going for another Body Slam. This will deal more damage than one rollout, so I personally find it worth it. But then, they decide to shield it. Personally, I have no idea what they're thinking there. I don't know, like, Solar Beam's resisted and Body Slam doesn't do that much damage, so I'm not entirely sure what was going through their mind there. But I will take both shields. And now, Primarina gets a full farm down, and we're going to see what they have in the back. They have Gholdengo in the back, and Gholdengo's very interesting. It's got a unique typing within Pokemon Go, and I'm not sure how well Decidueye does into it. I will have to shield, because Shadow Ball will probably take me out. And I have to hope I can make it to a second Aura Sphere. I think Decidueye loses CMP to Gholdengo, so thankfully we will be able to outpace. We're going to make it to an Energy Ball. I could have gone for the Aura Sphere or the Energy Ball. Either one takes him out, and we do take that game. We see Togekiss on the lead in the next battle. See a lot of Togekiss leads. Regardless, Rollout's going to hit for super effective into these, so it's fine. And I'm going to farm up to the Solar Beam again and go for the Body Slam. Based on previous experiences, I'm expecting them to shield. Of course they do. It's a Togekiss. And now I'm going to be able to go for another Body Slam. Body Slam won't do all that much, and I will lose CMP here. That's not ideal, but it's fine. I will decide to shield the Ancient Power, because I probably make it to 2 Body Slams here. They're going to shield back, and if they really want Switch this bad, I'm fine with that. I will go for a Body Slam, and they're going to make it to a move here. I'm not willing to commit a shield for Switch advantage, not when I can get a bit of extra farm on Primarina. So 1 Charm takes him out. And now they send in Metagross, and I just have to send in Decidueye, and they have a Shadow Dragonite in the back. Now at this point, I realize that the win con is not trying to take out Dragonite with Decidueye. The win con is letting Decidueye get farmed down, saving the shield for the Meteor Mash, and getting enough energy to make it to a Hydro Cannon. And the opponent's going to Superpower, and thankfully their Metagross, I think it is going to be able to get taken out by 2 Hydro Cannons. And considering the amount of energy they had, I think I make it to a second Hydro before they make it to another Meteor Mash. So now I'm going to shield this Meteor Mash, and we just have to pray that we make it to the Hydro Cannon beforehand. And from the looks of it, we do. This second Hydro Cannon will take him out because the Charm damage got them into the range for Hydro Cannon, and we do take that game. Into the next battle, and we lead Lickilicky into Gyarados. Now this is something we've seen a lot, not much diversity in the leads here, but I'm just going to send in Primarina because Primarina is a hard wall. I don't know why I sent in Primarina instead of Decidueye this time, but I did, so whatever. Now, they get the defense debuff with Crunch, which is quite unfortunate, but I'm going to Hydro Cannon the Gyarados, and they, of course, barely live it, but now going to be able to tank the Aqua Tail despite the defense debuff, and then they send in Togekiss. Now, those 2 charms, I think, do matter, because it means that I think 3 Body Slams will take them out, and they're going to shield the first Body Slam, and then they send in Rhyperior. Now, I'd love to Solar Beam them here because they'd never see it coming, but I have to send in Decidueye. Decidueye is useless against Togekiss, so just sending in Decidueye here gets the most value out of it. They then decide to shield, and I will shield back because this second superpower would probably KO. But I will overfarm as much as possible, trying to make it to an Energy Ball versus the Togekiss as well. I don't think I will, though, so yeah, I realize that, send in Lickilicky. And up a shield, this is just winning. 1 Body Slam will get them into a range where I can probably just farm up to a Solar Beam. They're not making it to another move, just because Charm's pacing is not ideal. I will just decide to go for double Body Slam, so I think that is the safer play. So, 1 Body Slam, the rollouts get them into the range for a second Body Slam. We'll go for this one, Body Slam, will take them out, and we do take that game. We lead Lickilicky into Vikavolt in the next battle. Finally, an interesting lead that isn't Togekiss or Gyarados, but we're going to just let them throw first. We're going to throw another rollout because they threw an alignment. They're going to go for Crunch. Crunch obviously gets the defense debuff, so now I think a second Crunch might threaten. I'm going to go for another Body Slam. They might shield this, they might not. It doesn't take them out, so I do understand them not shielding it. And then they send in Rhyperior. They want to go for a farm down here, but we're not going to let them. I'm going to make it to the beam. There's no way they shield us. Rhyperior gets absolutely one-shot, and then they're forced to send back in Vikavolt. I send back in Primarina. Of course, I get 1 turn bring in, which, lovely. And I was thinking that Primarina, with the charms, will be able to deal better into the Vikavolt, despite taking super effective from Volt Switch, just because I want to farm them down. They send in Golisopod, and I will catch on to Decidueye. Hopefully it's not an Aerial Ace. Of course it's an Aerial Ace. but they still cannot Shadow Claw me down. So this is good because they're forced to waste energy here. They go for another Aerialist, takes me out, but they just get charmed down now. I will shield here, I probably could no shield, but I'm not about to mess around with. So, just going to shield it, take them out, and we take that game. Absolutely awful lead in the next battle as we lead into Annihilape. I will immediately send in Decidueye, but I do realize that I might just get countered through here. But I'm going to go for an Energy Ball. Opponent shields it, and now Psycho Cuts are hitting for super effective, but it's not adding up that much. They Ice Punch me, and thankfully I'm able to make it to an Energy Ball. So if I hadn't, that could have just lost me the game on the spot. Now I'm going to try and realign the switch clocks by waiting out my switch timer, and now they are. So I'm going to send in Primarina. Primarina is going to tank a... Oh, I thought that was a Rage Fist, but Ice Punch Shadow Ball. Okay. That is a moveset. Now the opponent sends in Walrein, and I'm going to go for a Disarming Voice. Disarming Voice will hit for enough damage, probably get them into the yellow, but they don't do that. Now I'm going to send in my Lickilicky. I'm hoping to Solar Beam them, but then they send in Gyarados, and unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to win this. Gyarados will get me into Icicle Spear range with fast move damage, and I don't have enough firepower on my Lickilicky to take him out. Like, I can make it to a Solar Beam here, but unfortunately Solar Beam, since it's not super effective, isn't going to take him out. I do make a catch onto Primarina, though, which could win me the game, I don't know. I was hoping, though, that Aqua Tail would take me out so Lickilicky could get more farm, because now I think they're almost at the back-to-back Icicle Spears. There's the first one, and yeah, there's the second one. So, we're going to lose this game, but we made it very close. Into the next battle, and we lead Lickilicky into Rhyperior. So, hopefully we can hit him with a Solar Beam this time. And so, they're going to go for a move here. This is probably just a Breaking Swipe. And Breaking Swipe does not get the attack debuff. I'm just going to straight Solar Beam here. I'm really hoping they no-shield it. But they do shield it, so... I mean, props to them for not letting their Pokemon get one shot, but it's a shame. They're going to go for a Rock Wrecker. I'm just going to set in Decidueye. I'm basically just fully expecting them to safe switch out of this, because they have a basically full health Rhyperior. There we go. They send in Salamence, and thankfully, I can just charm through this, and I'll leave with a Hydro Cannon, so they can't really bring in the Rhyperior unless they want to lose that shield immediately. So, well, there goes their shield, I guess. They brought in Rhyperior. They probably have something else in the back that's weak to Primarina, so I understand why. So now I'm going to be shielding up because I want to make it to another Hydro Cannon. They send in Gyarados, though, and I should have just farmed up to another Hydro Cannon just to eliminate the risk of Rhyperior taking out my Primarina, but I don't, which we'll see if that loses me the game, but I don't think it does. They go for a Crunch. I do make it to another Energy Ball, so thankfully Rhyperior will not get much farm, and Gyarados will get taken out. I actually do decide to make the play of undercharging it there, though. So I do get the Hydro Cannon. Now Hydro Cannon takes out Rhyperior, and I do take that game. I probably still would have won it without that undercharge, but the undercharge helps. We see Mamoswine on the lead of the next battle. Now Mamoswine is weak to Solar Beam, so we'll see if I can land one. Now they're going to go for a move here. It's going to be an Avalanche. Avalanche will not take me out, but another one probably will. I decided to go for a bait here because I farmed up a lot and Mamoswine's like shield, but then they don't. I was very surprised by this, and then they sent in Gyarados. Now, Gyarados, since they sent it in, I just immediately sent in Primarina because regardless of what move they're on, it's resisted. I think... Okay, Hydro Cannon doesn't look resisted. I'm going to go for Hydro Cannon into Gyarados now because I'll get farmed out. And so I do take him out, but I almost lose my entire Primarina to it. Now, they send in Mamoswine. They have a decent amount of energy here. They're probably expecting a Body Slam, but they're just going to get wrecked. Now, unfortunately, it's Haxorus in the back, so if the Gyarados was a fairy bait out, it worked. And they do get a debuff with the first Breaking Swipe, which is always bad. So now I'm going to go for an Aura Sphere. They're obviously going to shield it. And I'm pretty sure I just lose to fast move pressure here. I can probably make it to another Aura Sphere, but I need to catch it. Like, I need to catch their next Breaking Swipe, which would reset my next debuff. Well, it would reset my debuff on my Decidueye, but I failed the catch, and I'm now just going to get hit by a Breaking Swipe. So they're going to go for the Breaking Swipe. It'll take me out. They probably could just farm me down anyways, because I wouldn't make it to a move, but we do lose that game. We see Gardevoir on the lead for the next battle. Now, I can't really just send in Primarina, because if this thing gets a line out of my Decidueye, it's not good. But I'm going to farm up, go for Body Slam. I did farm up enough to a Shadow Ball, so I did expect them to shield there, because it would deal a lot of damage. Now, they're going to go for Triple Axle. Triple Axle won't take me out, and I'll be able to make it to a Solar Beam. Now, Solar Beam does not take out Gardevoir, but it hits decently hard. Now I'm going to send in Primarina, take him out with one Charm, and we'll see what they bring in. They bring in Gyarados, so they must have something in the back that really does not like to see Primarina. I'll send in Decidueye just to check what it is and catch the Aqua Tail. And it's Tyranitar. So they're just really weak to my backline. Well, my backline is very strong as theirs. Aura Sphere fully one-shots Tyranitar, and this game's immediately over. I have a Primarina with almost full health, and I have Decidueye with an Energy Ball, so I have 2 shields now. I don't even think this Aqua Tail KOs. So they're going to go for the Aqua Tail, doesn't even take me out. I make it to the Energy Ball, and so now I'm going to be able to take them out and have both shields intact. Into the next battle, and we lead Lickilicky into a Primarina. Primarina is also weak to Solar Beam, and they're on Waterfall. They'll make it to Hydros a lot faster with Waterfall, so I will have to be wary of that. Waterfall with the Hydro Cannon, it's going to get me into a range where I can get farmed down pretty fast, but I'm going to go for a Body Slam, and they're going to shield it. Now there's absolutely no way that they shield this Solar Beam, unless I want to go down 2 shields, which I doubt, so we're just going to get rid of the Primarina, and then they send in Dragonite. I don't make the Body Slam, unfortunately, but then I send in Primarina, and the opponent has Rhyperior in the back, so game's immediately over. Doesn't matter what they have, Rock Wrecker doesn't take me out. I don't think they have any move that could. They go for a Stone Edge, though, so I guess they don't have the Elite TM for Rock Wrecker, but I'm going to Energy Ball them. Actually get the defense drop here, which doesn't matter too much, but I think it means an Aura Sphere KOs, so I'm going to go for the Aura Sphere, just for style points. Looks like the opponent might have just force quit the app. And yeah, they definitely did, because they're not like switching their last Pokemon in fast. So yeah, it looks like they force quit the app out of rage. We get another 2 Shield Flex and we take the game. We see a Dragonite lead in the next battle. We do have Rollout, which hits for super effective, but I can under no circumstance Solar Beam this thing. So I will farm up a lot and then send in Primarina. They have no reason to go for a move here. This is just desyncing the switch clocks. They Draco Meteor me, which, okay, I guess. But so now they're going to go for a move here with Gyarados. Aqua Tail will not take me out. It does very little. And now I'm going to go for a Disarming Voice. Disarming Voice deals no damage, basically, because they shielded. Well, technically it does 1 damage, but yeah. I'm going to let this move go through. Aqua Tail still doesn't take me out, but that's bad, because that gives them a bit more farm, because I don't even get to register a Charm. Now they're going to go for a move here. As long as they're not on Outrage, I'm going to be able to tank it. Looks like they're not. So now I'm going to go for an Energy Ball. Energy Ball will hit for some okay damage, and the opponent gets taken out by it. They then send in Dragonite, and I'm going to go for an Aura Sphere. Aura Sphere will get the shield, probably, or they just let it take them out. And then they have Rhyperior in the back, so I think this game's over because they don't make it to enough moves to take me out, and I Solar Beam them. So now I'm going to get my first beam shielded, but I have enough shields of my own. But then I decide it's actually not worth it, because if I get a Breaking Swipe debuff on me, I might not take them out with Solar Beam. So I decide, unfortunately, I can't Solar Beam them here, because Decidueye is the win con. Energy Ball will hit for a lot of damage, so I will have to shield here. If this gets a debuff, they might actually live it, though. They do get the debuff, so suddenly this game kind of depends on how much this does. It barely doesn't take him out, but one Psycho Cut takes him out, so we barely take that game. We see Swampert on the lead in the next battle. Swampert is, I'm assuming, going to go for 1 Hydro Cannon and then probably shield my Solar Beam. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that, but we're gonna go for the Beam. Beam's going to get shielded. That is quite a shame, but thankfully I think I can just let this go and go for a Body Slam. Yeah, I can tank a Hydro Cannon, and they're going to be forced to go for another one. Now I do want to get another Beam off, but I am scared of getting sniped, so I am going to be able to go for the Beam. They make a catch onto Annihilape. I don't know if they're trying to snipe there or what, but they end up catching a Beam. Annihilape takes a Beam to the face. It doesn't even do half, though, because non-stab and Lickilicky and Annihilape's bulky in the Master League. But we're going to be able to charm him down. And then they send in Chesnaught. Now, Chesnaught is not the best response to Primarina. I'm going to Hydro Cannon them, and they're going to have to go for a move here to take me out. They really don't want a superpower, because if I shield, and then they're debuffed. But at the same time, if they go for a Frenzy Plant, that's less energy. Sorry, it's more energy to use. And then they send back in Swampert, get a snipe with a Hydro Cannon, which is admittedly annoying, but it's not going to be immediately game-losing. So I'm going to be able to farm a bit more, go for an Energy Ball. This will easily take out Swampert. And their Chesnaught's in a range where an Aura Sphere takes them out. I'm not going to mess around and try to catch on to Lickilicky or anything. Just going to take them out with the Aura Sphere, and we do take that game. Into the next battle, and we lead Lickilicky into Gyarados. Now, we've seen this before. Lickilicky, it does pretty well into Gyarados, and then they throw an alignment. So now I just have a free rollout. They're going to Aqua Tail me. Doesn't even do enough damage to get me into the yellow. And now I'm going to go for a Body Slam. The opponent does no-shield it, so nice call by them. And now I'm going to let this move go through. Aqua Tail should not KO. And I'll make it to a Solar Beam. Hopefully we can land it, but they shield it, unfortunately. So they do get Switch, but now I can send in Primarina, and they throw an alignment again. Now, it doesn't matter too much, because I think it means I take 2 less damage from Dragon Breath's total, but it is nice. They have Metagross, though. I accidentally throw a Charm instead of Stay Switching, and now I'll be able to make it to several Aura Spheres versus this Metagross. I don't know what they have in the back that doesn't want to see Decidueye like this Metagross does, but so we're going to be able to go for an Aura Sphere, does some nice damage, and they have Mamoswine in the back, so I guess that's why. Now, I do realize that Aura Sphere, they're going to have to throw a move here, and I will shield, but thankfully, Aura Sphere will take him out, and I'll just be able to immediately send in Primarina after, or I can just bank the Aura Sphere there. I think that's a bit riskier of a play, because now I can't snipe them, but thankfully, I'll be able to just send in Primarina, and they are forced to Meteor Mash me here. So Meteor Mash does some damage, and now I'm going to send in Decidueye. Decidueye has the Aura Sphere, and Aura Sphere takes him out, and we do take that game. Overall, Lickilicky is pretty fun. Like, I looked at the combat power on this thing when I was about to max it out, and I was thinking about whether or not it was worth it. And then I decided that it probably would be, because Solar Beam, super effective, probably takes stuff out anyways. But I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. Like, the thing actually can win, like, the zeros against Gyarados, which I find very funny. But there's also some other stuff, like its matchup in a Togekiss that's fun, and obviously the Solar Beam, which we saw can hit a lot of stuff and just one-shot it. Anyways, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.